Well folks, what is happening? Welcome to Mentality Monsters, and today's episode is proudly sponsored by our King's Competitions, and we are joined here in the offices of T.A.M.H.I by Micky. So just a wee shout out here, this will be out before the event takes place. Me and Liam McMullen will be doing a 60 kg challenge where we're carrying 60 kg worth of equipment and gear up to the top of Divis Mountain and back, and we'll be doing this here for 3 amazing charities, and T.A.M.H.I is one of them. And T.A.M.H.I has allowed us to use their offices this weekend, which has been a massive help for us, so thank you very much, Micky.
No problem at all, but.
And I just want to just to show this here, so Micky, if you can just give a brief description.
Yeah guys, so anyone watching the episode, if you're ever feeling down, feeling low, this is genuinely totally free of charge, and it's no one's gonna know that you text it. You text Teammate to 85258, and it's simple. You will get 24/7 mental health support right to your phone until you tell it to stop. You'll get that straight away, free of charge. As long as you need that, use it. That's it.
Thank you very much, Micky. So this here again, we've got Micky on. Micky represents T.A.M.H.I, the organisation, but he's also got a individual personal story himself of where he's got to and how he's came to be where he is. So this is going to be the story of Micky Meehan, but also the story of T.A.M.H.I as an organisation as well. So it's a privilege to have you on, Micky.
Thank you. It's genuinely my privilege. I've been following the podcast for a while. I don't want to blow. It's brilliant. It's very good. You get a lot of people sort of that would know one from about the area, and it's just them as talking. It's brilliant to hear. I'm
unreal. And your story as well. You've got a great story being a man from the bone, Old Park, whatever you want to. Whatever you want to call it there. Contentious, but Micky, we'll just start off from the very start. Just what you were like as a young person and where are you from?
Right. So born and raised. I mean, we were sort of born and raised in actually off of Cliftonville, down at Harcourt, which is still in the bone premises. But born and raised, sort of young man. I have a brother and sister, a mum, and basically grew up sort of never wanting anything, never needing anything. Mummy had always put us first, sort of things they got there. And we moved a few times, but see when I say we moved, you could have hit all our houses with a stone.
Yeah. It
was one of them ones, I'll swap your house, I'll swap this. So we ended up in the bone. Great people, great times. Grew up in the Troubles in the bone, and it's probably one of the safest places to be because everyone sort of looked out for each other, and there was nothing else to do but play sport and things like that. And then obviously there was also the opportunity to be a troublesome youth. It's one thing I never talk up on, but here a lot of my friends did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was one of them ones. It was brilliant area to grow up in. There was a lot of positive role models as well. Sort of. It's great to see even the amount of boxers came from such a small, brilliant place to grow up, and sort of somewhere just to cut your sort of stripes in and just get on my life. It was brilliant. It was brilliant growing up in that there, and then I moved to Cliftonville and sort of stayed there for a while. I wouldn't say moved up nowhere now, but a bit classier. But ended up after that there with my mum, we moved in the Ardoyne and sort of
definitely moving up in the world now.
Palm trees and all. Palm
trees. The district.
No, I wouldn't want to say where she moved in the Ardglen. Oh, trust me, Ardglen. Oh my God, there's people trying to put trees through windows and everything. Crazy, but genuine. See, whenever you go into like a hardship place, I find that people are always genuine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And see people that will tell you the shit and not cut nothing. That's brilliant.
The community aspect of it all.
That's it. But it's sort of things like that there sort of led me to where I am today. I'm very proud of where I'm from. Very, very proud.
Where would you say, because you're a bit of a man of all North Belfast areas here?
I haven't physically, well, saying that we moved back, so me and the wife, we lived in the bone for like 6 years, so I moved back to the bone as well, but I'd still say my bone man. Like.
You're a bone man.
That's where I cut the cloth, that's where sort of, from no age.
Where's the borders here? Because, right, Ardoyne Avenue, the Glen Park is in Ardoyne Avenue, But Ardine Avenue
The
is
Glen Park's a bone thing. And see whenever I always go, see when you go St Gemma's and where it used to bend down,
Yeah.
and then there up. As soon as you go past that there cut, that's Ardine. That's Ardine, and that's where sort of there was always a madness of how Ardiners and bone hoppers didn't get on, but it was down from our days and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, here they did not get on, and I was like, why? So much. I remember playing the Boney Hills. Remember, it didn't used to be anything around it, and used to get a team from Ardine coming up, the team from a bone, and you played a football match, and see, no matter what, you knew after you were digging ahead of each other. And it was like someone scored, run, then all of a sudden you turn, your mate was hitting him, and it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. It was something like out of, you ever see the War of Buttons?
Yeah,
It was like
it was
that.
like the War of
It was
Buttons.
like that there, and it was like you would never have went in. And then, but it's crazy how all that there amalgamated into me then playing GA for Ardine, and absolutely loving it.
there's Pierce's and then Ardine in North Belfast, like, you know, like
Aye.
where you can go to.
But Pierce's is more New Lodge based.
Yeah.
I think they like to try and creep up a Cliftonville and reclaim that their cricket pitch. But I mean, that cricket pitch was like a fortress from us. It really was. I don't think we get beat in it in 2 years. Probably due to when we were all the potholes
Yeah.
were. Not to run down them, having kids disappearing for years down there. But no, here, brilliant times too. Like playing football, sort of. I would have always kept myself busy. We're playing football, Gaelic hurling, boxing. I love the boxing, but I'd sort of
Like, who did you box for? Secret Heart?
Secret Heart, Big Ari McCullough. What a man! Genuinely, he was like Mickey from Rocky. Here, took no shit at all.
Yeah.
I can remember there was a guy who knocked about Russ, and when Eric was going up, I was sort of in the peripheral of leaving the boxing and stuff like that there, because it was sort of going against the football. The football was my dream and all that there, so I was sort of leaving, and one of my mates shouted over, "All right, Eric," and started shouting all this here. Eric called me over and goes, "Mick, come here." I thought he was going to say, like, who said that? He hit me a big slap in the jaw. And I went, "What the fuck are you doing?" Turned around and goes, "Deaf by association, son. I know you're a brilliant kid. You need to stay away from certain people." It was a life lesson.
Yeah.
No mind getting a slap in the jaw from a 7-year-old, but here, you get slapped like a horse.
What was it like growing up in, North Belfast at that there time? Like, what kind of would you have got up to? Were you heavy into, say, drinking at that age, or was it just solely sports?
For me, sport was massive, absolutely massive. It really kept me sort of busy and let me away from sort of drinking and taking any drugs and all that there. All my mates would have been flat out on all that there. I was genuinely too busy, and sort of everything from Gaelic, hurling, football, as I said before we even started, anything with a ball, I would have been nearly.
Yeah.
So obviously whenever you get to a certain age, get into secondary school, you start to sort of go, "Oh, what's that beer taste like? What's that?" Like any normal red-blooded man, you sort of want to know what it's like, and then you start to frequenting and down in the waterworks where a lot of you are young people and sort of stuff like that. But other than that, it was never too much of an issue for me. It really wasn't. Sort of, I had sort of a dream of trying to make it across the water somewhere. It didn't make for other reasons, but yeah.
Was that the vision then, as a young person?
Being from the area, as you know, you had to be near enough a tough nut, and I thought it led into a bit of toxic masculinity. Whenever at under 16 level, there was a few scouts actually over watching me, and I ended up getting banned from football.
Hey everyone, Caine here from Mentality Monsters. Time to talk about today's sponsor. If you love the thrill of winning big, then you need to check out our King's Competitions, the UK and Ireland's top spot for incredible praise competitions. They're giving you the chance to win luxury cars, dream holidays, top tech, and even life-changing cash prizes, all for a fraction of the cost. And what's the best part of this? Entering is super easy, so you just need to go on, select your competition, grab your tickets, and then you're in for a shot at winning big. With guaranteed winners in every draw and some of the most amazing prizes out there, our Kings is the place to be if you want to turn a little into a lot. So, what are you waiting for? Head over to www.ourkingscompetitions.com now and grab your tickets, and you could be our next big winner. That's Our Kings Competitions, where dreams become reality, and enter today.
At 16 years of age, mate. At Milk Cup trials, mate, we fellas sort of started a fight, and sort of I ended it, where the bottom of my blades, actually, it was one of the biggest regrets in my life. I still have to live with it today, and not knowing what ifs, what I could have. No, you had a terrible attitude.
Yeah.
So see the older man in me, no, you had a stinking attitude, mate.
Everything has led you to where you are now.
That's it, and that's where sort of, when I work with a young person and I say to them, look, see if you're ever feeling this way, why are you going to react? They could have you, years later, costing you sort of what you could have been. But I believe I was meant to do it, and I was meant to, but I had a stinking attitude anyway.
Who were you playing for at that time?
Newington. So Newington under 16s, we were one of the strongest teams in Northern Ireland. Like, very, very good. But yet again, young lads being young lads, later on that their season, I think about 3 or 4 of us, the band. And it was just one of them ones. It was a lot of people making snowballs for other people to throw them.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. And it was just too much that season. And then I ended up going to Clinville. At the time, they used to have a team. They were under 18s. Were called the Strollers. And went, and it was actually Marty Tab. As soon as I sort of knew, I was like, right, football's done. I went and started coaching. So I did, and I worked in the Waterworks multi-sports facility.
So
it actually used to be like a
how did you know
river.
the football was done? What if you're
and I knew, I was like, fuck this, you're not making it. Do you know what I mean?
It's all or nothing.
It's even to say it was done. The older man of me says it's not. Work harder. Do this here.
Yeah.
No.
Just at the time.
At the time, I had that fucking attitude and sort of, nah, it's done. It's on. I cut me annoyed. And then went to Clinville. Marty Tab got me to go to Clinville at under 18 level, and I trained with him 3 or 4 times. And he called me over and he says, I need to talk to you about something. And he said, bring your boots next week. I was like, Marty, it's a bit weird because the Waterworks multi-sports facility used to be like red rubber.
Yeah. Like
a red rubber tennis court. And I went, that's a bit weird. And he goes, no, you're training with the first. I've just been given the job. I went, right, dead on. I said, what's the boots about? And he went, we're going to go over in the Waterworks and run the hills. I went, yep, no problem, I'll see you. It was the last train I ever played for Clinville. I just went, nah. That's just a poor attitude.
Yeah.
Poor attitude and sort of...
Especially getting called up to train with the first team.
It really was a poor attitude, and it was sort of immaturity.
What year would that have been?
What was that, 2000, or I was probably about 16, 17 at the time. So 1999.
99, just won the league the year before, was it? Or 2 years before?
Just as Marty got the job, and for me being sort of, I actually worked in the multi-sports facility, and Marty used to rent it, and that's how he actually said. He said, you're not playing football no more, son. I said, nah, I'm coming annoyed. And I remember actually going to Star as well. And the Star, my dad actually done doorman in the Star, and it was Butch Branoff said to him, bring a wee lad up, would love to get to sign him. I went up and fuck, I was throwing tackles into every left, right and centre. Like bad tackles, like, and I was just, I think I just needed a break. I think I was near enough getting to that stage where I was kind of pissed off of what I had done.
Yeah.
And what could have been. But it's the kind of thing, you have to learn from everything that you do.
Were you ever enticed or near going into, because like obviously early 2000s you still had a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah.
The Holy Cross stuff and all going on, and even just like the 12th of July rats and Ardoyne, it's very close to home. Was there ever, like, did you ever get involved in any of that there, or ever feel the need going?
Never, no, never at all. Basically, genuinely, for me, I would like to try and use a bit of logic, and I'm going, right, I have a stone here, and I'm going to throw it at that there Brit Jeep, and if I hit that Brit Jeep, they're going to hear just a wee ding. It's not going to make a fucking dent. An RPG wouldn't make a dent, what's the point? So stuff like that. And obviously, look, I'm talking somebody they used to drive past, and the temptation will always be there, because when they drove past pointing a gun at you and shooting stuff at you, you know, it was always but I mean, I'll never forget the Lee Clegg rat. That's
when the two
they let him away were murder or something. And I mean, I was a child and I was seeing people sort of burning buses and blocking the road off, and I was just out on the old part.
Like that's what You, Me and Marley's kind of based off the film. The film was based off that.
That was crazy. Well, I mean, it's even the British Army and stuff like that. There, like they had a stronghold on the thing. But even my own family was affected by it. My grandmother was actually shot dead by the British Army, and whenever it comes to sort of different things and stuff, when you talk about a poppy, I would always say, look, see if you want to wear a poppy, fill your boots. Just don't expect me to. It's the same. It's not out of personal discard from anyone that's fighting for any country. It's just kind of going, our family's been sort of wronged by them, so I'm not going to celebrate. But that's it. It's you have to.
Same way as myself. Like my granddad was killed by the British Army, and my missus is English. She's from the Shankill, but she's raised, or she's from England, but raised on the Shankill. Right. So obviously, like that's her tradition and stuff like that there. But she completely understands. It's not something which I would do, because.
But you have to respect our people's
family, my beliefs and stuff.
You have to respect our people's opinions. I always say, see whatever makes you happy, do it. I mean, I say it's the kids, and the boys always laugh. See if you want to paint yourself purple, call yourself Barney, and wave at buses. Fill your boots. See if you're not harming anyone else. Go ahead, because there's so many people out there with opinions. But remember, opinions don't pay bills.
I always say to my missus, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has
one, but they're useless. There's only a load of farting. That's it. There's so many opinions. But even in a mental health capacity, I always say, if you actually maintain someone else's opinion above yours, you're always going to be a loser. You're always going to be. Think of yourself in a higher way, and you'll be grand.
Not to go off track here, because we're still just kind of in your journey, but see the work that you do here with Tommy. You work in a lot of schools. You work with a lot of youth groups. Do you get much people that have been victims of the Troubles, or people that have lived through that are only starting to deal with what they've seen and experienced now? I
would say everything's about that. Not everything. Social media has a massive part to play in sort of mental health sort of crisis we're in at the minute, but also like coming off the back of the Troubles, like see a fact that you've just said about a family member getting killed. I've just said about a family. The cameraman's probably had some. Everyone's known someone or have been involved in something. Even if it's seeing something, even if it's hearing bombs, even if it's that. I mean, what I'm saying is, even the breakup of my own family, sort of, where my mum and sort of my biological father never got on, and it was because he was sort of argumentative, abusive and all, whatever. But he had lost his mum at a very young age, so you're going, and that then poured down. It's poured through every family, sort of, in North, especially in North Belfast. It's generational trauma, which is affected. But genuinely, see today, getting into all these different schools and hearing all these young people, half of them don't know what they are, whether they're Catholic or Protestant. It's beautiful, man. But then again, we actually do a mad game where it's still in them, and I let them know it's still in them, where I would ask them, and I'll ask you, what's a Catholic colour?
Green.
How's green a colour? A religion? I know, but it's mad. That's the way but we do at the young people and say, are you sectarian? I go, no, never. And say, what's a Catholic colour? And I go, green. But we got American students over to amalgamate in with a local youth group, and I asked the Americans first. I said, what's a Catholic colour? And they went, a colour? A Catholic? What? And all this here. I said, over here we relate certain colours to a religion. And they were looking at me like genuinely at 10 heads. And one of the girls went, I know. I was like, go ahead. purple. The Pope wears a lot of purple. And I was like, and I looked at them, but they were mortified. They were kind of going, oh no, we actually are assholes. It's just genuine. It's ingrained into us. And you know yourself. It's down from even football, stuff like that. People walk, like Orange Order walking in orange. It's crazy hard
Just
work.
mad. I was in Palestine in 2017. This is before the army and stuff, and we had to do kind of like a presentation. So there was 4 people from Belfast, but 2 Catholics and 2 Protestants, and we had to do a presentation on where we were from, and we ended up getting in to a bit of a tiff during our presentation, and the Palestinians and the Israelis were like, "Yous are mental."
Damn, I know.
Like, yous are like, what is all this about?
It is. It's crazy. Like, I mean, so much that, like, see even the flags today. I've openly said, and there's one side will put up a pro-Palestine flag, and the other side will put up an Israeli flag. I would love for one day to sneak over in this Shankill and sneak over in the Falls, and in one set put up a Joker flag. I reckon the next day there'll be a Batman flag on the other side.
Or McDonald's flag.
Burger King flag. Burger King. It's just sort of, it's crazy just the way we are. But see, whenever you do sort of, you're saying about youth work and stuff, they like this stuff at our city and all do.
Yeah.
It's absolute magical. Because they're sort of breaking, see at barriers, there is no barriers there. And see whenever them young people meet each other and be like, you're just a normal person like me. It needs to be said. But even see when we're talking about sort of cross community elements, whenever sort of all the football and all broke down, I got a job in a call centre, and I was sort of sitting about acting jack a lad, and there was a fella walking past and said, "Anyone here been affected by troubles?" And I went, "Yep, my granny got shot." And he turned around and goes, "Dead on, Mickey." Knowing that it was sort of a bit of a trying to be a funny fucker, he must have thought. He just went, "Yep, dead on." I went, "No, I'm serious." He sat down, he said about going to Romania and building houses. And I kind of went, nah, not a chance. No, I'm all right, thank you. And he says, "Mate, it's like 25 degrees, 26 degrees. It's lovely and all, everything paid for and all." I don't know. He went, "It's 20p a pint." I went, "When do we fly?" So I was like, "Hey," but went over. Mate, I would say that was a massive change in point in my life, because you went over, and as I said, from where you're from the things that went on in your life, you had to act a certain way. You're near enough like a wee angry wee man.
Yeah.
And sort of you had to be a certain way.
Had you been out of Ireland for that?
Yeah, well, I went to America.
One of the Rogers thing,
yeah. Whenever I was a kid, I went away with school. I don't know how I got picked. I must have sort of, been looking for the most handsome kid or something, and obviously I got it. I thought, but I genuinely got called into the next room, and I was like, "Do you want to go to America?" And that's it. But then the Romania thing, mate, that changed so much. You were walking down the street, and there was old elderly ladies actually sitting going like that, no, because they knew what you were overdoing.
Yeah.
And they had nothing. And we built a house for a young kid who didn't know what places he met, didn't know anything, never had nothing. Their family were probably on about £30 a month, and they were happy, mate.
Puts things into perspective.
And we were kind of going, why are we fucking so angry for? Why are we so everything? But even talking previous to sort of coming on here, we were talking about the way we are as people. Like in America, I went back when I was older and went back to the family again. It's amazing to see them. But we were walking through a shopping mall, and I was wearing an Ardine jersey, GA jersey. And some fella was standing outside and he goes, "Hey man, awesome jersey." And I turned to him and went, "Is he fucking serious?" Like, is he trying to make a compliment?
Yeah.
And you're kind of going, and I go, "What am I doing here?" Like, I think it's the way they're sort of built. See when something's too nice.
Americans are very complimentary.
Yeah.
They'll let you know, which is a great thing as well. But over here, we take that is he trying to patronise me here? Is he trying to be a dick?
100%. And even the way, I find there's certain parts in America that I don't resonate with, and I go, nah. Whenever they meet you, they go, "What do you do?" So their opinion of you is going to be of what your job is and what do you do, not what your legs or how are you or anything like that. So what do you do? And I found that sort of strange. I was kind of going, what do you do? I'm standing here talking to you, mate. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, so you want to know how many jobs I've got and think? They're all very career sort of focused and stuff like that there, where we have enough shit over here to deal with, where we're just about getting from day to day and sort of trying to help people along the way, if you can. Like.
What would you say now if they were to ask you, what do you do? Would you do a load of things now, like here?
Through my job, we have a slogan that's on the wall there. We shape, change and save lives, and that's our whole motto, and that's sort of what we try and do out there, and we do it in a positive way. And as you've seen, even with the office is a bit like sort of Microsoft. We have putters and all there.
Yeah.
For not going to see sometimes half of shit that you actually hear. You need to be mindful of your own mind. If you know what I mean, it's sort of not taking it too much in, sort of thing. You need to let that.
Do you have a debrief, or do you have a designated person in here or person that you would confine in yourself?
We're all. I would definitely say within Tommy, sort of, we're all like brothers. We all sort of will fight the house out some days and sort of stuff like that there. But we always have each other's back, and no matter what, sort of we'll talk within each other and sort of get to do stuff together. You know what I mean? Even in the summer, the amount of time sort of whenever we felt work and life was getting down on us, we went out and done 9 holes of golf up in Clinville, and just sit there walking and talking. It just clears the mind, mate.
Definitely.
It does. It clears the mind. You know yourself in the gym. Sometimes getting in the gym and sort of just lifting a few heavy stuff and just sort of forgetting about everything.
Yeah. Switch off. It's a great detox, like, especially if you're just in there for an hour and a half, whatever it may be, 40 minutes, but it's just you in there and you just kind of switch off, which is really, really good. Like, I always try to be as creative as possible, especially with content and ideas for this and stuff. But the gym would probably be the place where I will be my most creative, or I'll talk to myself the most positively.
Yeah.
In the gym, it's mad just the way things do work out like that.
I love even seeing your training when you're doing. Instead of weights, you're lifting with the
ammo boxes, the kettlebells.
Unreal. It's just visually different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where you'll get a lot of people stand, but seeing that there and it's an ammo box, 95% of people from Belfast have never touched the ammo box. The R5.
Social reasons.
That's for a different subject. But do you get what I was saying? They have it, so it's different. It's different. It's so different, and it's unique. And I see some of the lads are really coming on strong. Yeah, it's great to see. You're making an impact in people's lives. I love seeing.
I think that's probably one of the best things. And again, you'll be happy enough with me speaking about this here as well, because we've spoken about it a good lot. My mate Joe Patterson.
Yep.
Joe lost his wife there to cancer in May. God rest her. And Joe came on. Joe openly admitted, he just says, I'm in a place right now at the minute where I'm not happy, and he's came in and see the growth out of that man there.
Unreal.
In strength, mentality, and just everything. He's just came along. Seeing that is phenomenal.
But you done that, and see, no matter how much people could put money in your table, how good is it knowing that?
Fulfillment. It's true fulfillment is helping others.
It's worth its weight in gold, mate. You know what I mean? You're probably, and you don't want it, I don't know if Joel ever played. You know what I mean? See out there, just you hand them that tool to be able to go, look, that's Mendes the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, mate? Let's make you a better. And that's all it's about, mate. It really is. It's having that care and empathy. I think most people actually have it. It's just sort of pulling it out of them. Where everyone has their own problems.
100%. Like, I think everyone is, even a lot of people have anxiety going into the gym, and I think once you realise that no one's really watching you, everyone's kind of dealing with enough stuff in their own life. I think anybody that really kind of talks down to you for doing something, or who does this person think they are, they're just internally battling with themselves because they're unhappy with themselves.
Self-doubt.
It's self-doubt.
See, when you're saying even about the gym, some of our youths would be afraid to go near the gym. They go, all these big muscle. See all them people. They've worked so hard on themselves.
Yeah.
Trust me, they'll help you. Do you know what I mean? Like the person that owns the gym, you know yourself, one of the nicest fellas you'll
Yeah.
ever meet in this earth. And I mean,
You can go to him for anything, and he'll help you. Like,
Mate,
big shout out to Mick.
what a man. You'll see he's been a massive supporter of us. We have been a massive supporter of him. And it's through the likes of people like Michael Opie that we're able to do the work we do. And as I say, he's seen it firsthand. He's seen people walking in and out of here sort of in tears and things like that. But he's also seen us working here to 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night with our youths and things like that there. So he knows the work's there. He knows we're doing good stuff. So it's at our mutual respect. See, within the sort of community,
Yeah.
you have that there. You're golden.
You've inspired me there. I think I said to you last week, walked past, I was going to the toilet the other week, and I saw...
inspired you to go to the toilet, did I?
Yeah, you inspired me to get a Domino's. I was like, I smelt it, and then and the door was open a bit and looked in, and I seen a group of young like people in here with Domino's. Straight on the bell of her, I goes, "Do you fancy a Domino's, mate?"
You should have done. You should have said, open that door and said, "Look here, I'm a big give us a slip."
I guess it's
here. What if it's no? It was our so our young people that I work with, inspirational young people, genuinely sort of see when I say they're just brilliant. They really are, and I sort of build them up as young leaders of the future, and we're promoting a lot of things with them. It's them that are going to be running about for all the costumes. For Easter, they dress up and they fundraise, buy a load of Easter eggs and go out and give them out to the local community. It's called One Egg, One Smile, and it's just to make people smile. It's simple as that there. And then we do it through selection boxes. But now the price of a selection box, wild, mate. $2.50 and thing, and also we've went down to one bar once, mate. You ever see the big pound bars? But they're no longer even a pound.
$1.25 now.
We give it out Fredos a couple of years. But see, as long as the kids don't even mind what the chocolate is. That's where we were sort of this year was sort of going. It doesn't matter, but it's having Sonic, it's having Super Mario, it's having given out, and this all came off the back of COVID. So whenever COVID, no one was allowed to leave and do anything. I'd actually contacted the police and said, what's the chances of me getting lifted if I leave the house? I said, very, very high. Why? What are you thinking? I said, look, I work for a mental health charity. We're going to go out and spread a bit of joy. And I went, it's a bit lowered, did you, mate? He says, but depending on the place. I said, look, I'll take that risk. So we went out. A cousin of mine was very into Comic-Con and all that there, malarkey, and gave me a few costumes, and we went out, mate, and dressed up, got a load of Easter eggs and went around the streets, local streets, handing out. Seeing not only the kids' faces, but the parents who they weren't allowed really to interact with the outside world, couldn't see their grannies or aunties, anything like that there. And all of a sudden, Superman, Spider-Man, and Batman are at your door, leaving an Easter egg waving at you. Unreal, mate.
Class.
It just, and I mean, it was a sort of a bit of a brain fart to sort of come into something bigger, and that's all it is. It was nothing sort of groundbreaking. It was knocking a wee game what we all used to play, wrap a door and run away, and that's what here it was, wrap a door and get out before, because remember, anyone that was within 100 feet of you were dying.
Yeah. No. One thing which I think I want to ask you, just because I would have. I would speak to youth workers kind of a lot on a daily basis, just not through actual youth work setting, but just because I know them.
Yeah.
And a few of them have actually said that poverty now in young people is completely different than what maybe when I was coming through, and I thought poverty back then was still right, but nowadays they say that poverty now is in young people is a serious thing compared to even a few years ago. What are the effects that you're seeing of poverty now?
It's the same. A lot of people get fed in school. A lot of people get fed in youth clubs. There's people that likes a big Stat and Joe McNeil all night. Turley, Alan Waite over there, salty earth people, and people talk about it's not only charities that are doing it. Youth workers, I think, are first class. Genuinely, you talk about mental health issues, they deal with it every single day, from loads and loads of different kids who are coming in from different types of families, and you don't know the hardship that the families are going through.
Yeah.
But they sort of know everything. They've got their fingers and feet on the ground and know everything, and it is poverty. It's poverty, but it comes from the the place that we're from.
Yeah.
I always sort of use the Bone as a one-way street, and you go, where else can you put one Ladbrokes in one area and another Ladbrokes less than 100 metres away?
Yeah.
And it works. It's like having a McDonald's on one end of the street and 4 or 5 doors up, putting another one there. It doesn't seem to be right, but it's the same in Ardoyne when you have a Sean Graham's at the bottom of Brunton Park and one at the top.
Yeah.
And you're going, in a place where there's sort of a sense of hopelessness and poverty is stricken, that people then go into said place to try and earn money to bring themselves out of it, not knowing that you'll never see a poor boogie. And then when they don't do that, what do? They fall into a bar setting and try and drink their problems away because they're sort of.
You never see a boogies in the Malone Road or the Lisburn Road.
You don't.
They're not there. They're not in those types of areas.
It's the same, and even yourself, where sort of the fitness thing. How many Chinese and Chinks are in the Bun, Clinville and Ardoyne area? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it's things.
Ardoyne Road, there is. Yeah, sure. There's 4 Chineses. There's 2 pizza places. You've got the Chipco.
That's crazy.
You've got the Subway, and they're all just all next door. And then you've got a Thai place as well.
And here, they're not doing bad.
They're not doing bad.
So you're kind of going to yourself, like it's things like that, and then bookmakers, stuff like that. It's sort of no one's coming in and going, right, you can be healthy, you can do this, you can be rich, you can be this here. People's minds need to be wealthy. Yeah. First, if you know what I mean. And whenever there's a bit of a hopeless sort of feel about the place, we actually worked with Lighthouse and T.A.M.H.I, different organisations, and worked on something called the Care Zone, and it was based on sort of the Sacred Heart Parish. And some of the things that came back, they'd done a sort of geographical map of how much greenery was about. Very, very little. I mean, very little. And the one place that was locked, which was the Pony Hills. And then they were asking, so what's happening at the moment? Remember, there was a lot of kids meeting up there and having drinks and fried eggs and all this here. I said, see if you try and keep them out by locking them out. That's what's happening. It's like them is going, how you're not stop me. And then they all meet in there. But see now that it's openly open and there's people walking about it, you'll barely see anyone frequenting in it. But it's like that. It's like genuinely on the youth work thing. There's so many unbelievable people about this area that really sort of fight that sort of stigma of people not being able to afford this. Come on in and get a toast in, whatever, we'll feed you.
I feel sorry for them as well. Well, it's kind of the same as all kind of organisations, because at the end of the day, you're all competing as well for limited resources, which is a scary thing in these working class areas.
Especially now, whenever we're all well, there's actually something at the minute where we're all actually working together, which is brilliant to see. It's joined by the Iceland Community Forum down and there's sort of an initiative where everyone's sort of working together. How well and how far it goes. Sometimes you go to meetings and it's a meeting about a meeting. Yeah. When's the next meeting? When's the next thing? And you're kind of going. But I mean, the likes of Joe Turley and Stock and things like that, they want to get it done. You know what I mean? Sean McMullen, so the likes of actions. See the likes of Sean, what he's doing down in New Lodge. Unreal. Yeah. Unreal. I
think it's done his hair any good, like, though.
But look here, to stress anything. Look at my hair. Hopefully that there camera's not too good. There's a few greys coming through in the beard. But it really is. There's some brilliant people, brilliant organisations about. It's just some people need to know who they are and where they are.
What were they like when you were growing up? So say early 2000s. What was? I know that the Art on Youth Club was a thing. I went to the John Paul. I was a John Paul person until I finally took the step and went to the Art on. Yeah, moved to the big league. But I remember going down to the John Paul for my summer schemes and stuff like that there, late 2000s. But what was it like for you actually growing up?
We had a brilliant youth club in the Sacred Heart in the Propel Hall, and that there was probably one of the most traumatising things ever. We had that, which has a pool table, snooker table, and ping pong, table tennis. That's it. And then I had like a room where everyone sort of sat in and watched TV, and it felt like heaven. It felt brilliant. And I can remember one of Price walking in, just saying, right, we're closing it down. It's the last night. We were like, what else are we going to do? And it was genuinely standing about in the rain and standing about and doing this and all that. There was nothing.
It's when you get up to no good and
100%.
mental health can kind of take a hit there.
100%. And it's like, in a way, I never forget a girl walking past, a wee old elderly lady. And the shop on the Old Park Road, I don't know if you would know it. It was called Jerry Rogan's. I still call it Jerry Rogan's, still this day. And we would all stand outside it. And anyone else probably would have been afraid to walk past that group of young lads being rowdy and sort of chatting away and all this here. She went over and just sort of saying, do you know I feel so safe you can stand there? And we were like, no, thank you so much, all this here. She said it's great to see sort of I'm able to come over here, and if anything ever happened you should help me and all. We all walked there across the road and all walked there to their house and all that there. But it was nice to hear, because young people sometimes get a bad rap.
Yeah.
A bad rap. And just there was a wee elderly woman genuinely opened up and said, look, you just make me feel safe, and it was lovely. It really was. Yeah. Especially in an area like that where you're called a wee bastard 24/7. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're not even doing anything. It's just, there's nothing else to do but walk about. And I can remember a guy chased us. We were playing Rap at Doors and Runaway, as you do, and he chased us and wouldn't stop chasing us. I was like, this fucker's relentless. He chased us, caught one of us and says, can I not start a football team for you? And it ended up, remember, it was at Old Park Raids?
Old Park Raids, Sticky Reading though?
That was, it was a while before it, and it was actually wee Joe Saunders. It was actually his dad and someone else started a team, and it never really got off the ground, but it had some players in it, like myself, Conor McKee, Anto Crawford and all, and we all sort of all knocked about like there.
Big Anto was a good player back in the day.
He was a monster. Anto was a year younger than me in school, and whenever all this shit happened at under 16, I was meant to go to Shankill. See, because there were different leagues. I was meant to go to Shankill, but there was an incident happened in the Shankill, and they were basically told to stop taking on Catholics.
He was playing for Shankill there for a few years, I don't know, like even a few years ago there, just Sunday.
Anto was, you knew as well, see growing up, you knew what pitch Shankill were playing on, because there was so many people at it, scouts and everything.
Shankill United was this, or Lower Shankill?
I don't.
The one that plays in the Hammer?
I don't know a thing, but the team Anto played for, I think back then it was just Shankill.
Shankill.
I don't know if it was they were all affiliated or
there's juniors now
and all that there. Nah, there's Shankill juniors, Lower Shankill and all that there. So I don't know back then. I just knew there was it was a Shankill, and then there was St Andrews and stuff like that. There was loads and loads of different teams, but they were always quality as well. But you very rarely ever met them teams as well. You didn't really make them until it was like a cup competition thing they got there. They really kept everyone segregated.
The leagues kind of stay. You wouldn't play Foundry and stuff like that there.
We never ever knew it. It was just, do you know what I mean? It was one of them ones where you grew up. You hated whoever you played against. It wasn't. That's it. Oh, here he's wearing a blue top. I hate him. Like, if anything, we never fought. I'd see where we are based in the office is directly, if you look out our window, right on sort of the border of the upper Old Park, where sort of the start in the Bone, and the lower Old Park. So we're right on the sort of contentious thing where a lot of rats and stuff would have happened. Yeah. I can very rarely, now I'm not saying it didn't happen, very rarely remember sort of too much happening there. We're round in the next street, there was a lot of lads would have knocked about in Rosapana, and we would have played them in matches, and like sort of the Ardine one, we would have fought and all after.
Yeah, mad.
We were just like, what are we doing here? Like, just kicking the shit out of each other.
I think as a kid it's just tribalism, because when you're a kid you're very proud of your area. You're like, oh, I fought
it is,
Ardine,
but see, even
Bone.
Like, see, I've said that there, Phil McCain, see it, the World of Buttons. Unreal. It reminds me so much of growing up in the Bone, because that's exactly the way it was, and not everyone in the Bone had a load of money and all this here, and you've seen someone from Ardine, you're shouting, you're Ardine sewer rat, and they're shouting, dirty bone hopper. it was mad. It was tribalism, like, at its finest, like, and you were just. I can remember one of the lads whenever we played the Orwee team, and they had a net. Their dad's fishing after he was running about trying to catch people to bait them up, and you were just going, I was mad. It really was. But here, it built character in you. It really did. Like, see, nowadays, kids are very hard on hardship. They don't know how to deal with certain things. And, like, we go in with a mindful play programme and talk about issues. And go, what way would you feel of this here? What way would you feel? If you turn around and say, what way would you, if your pet died? Oh, no. Some go, I'll just buy an Orwell. See, if you say to them, what if the internet's down? Fuck, no. And that's totally different mindset.
Yeah.
Where we never had to go through all that there. We went and rapped someone's door and seen if they were in. That's a difference. It is. It's sort of, and you did have to deal with hardship, and you found it normal. You go to any country and knowing that you were hearing gunshots and bombs and things like that there, it was normal. It was normal. And, like, I mean, Joe in here, a mate, he talks about seeing 3 or 4 people getting kneecapped like it was nothing. I'm like, Joe, that's a bit surreal, like. And
it's just the way that you are brought up, like.
That's it. There was nothing else.
You adapt to your environment. No matter, that's one thing about the human body and the human mind. We can, for long enough, if we're there for long enough, we will adapt and normalise things.
Amazing what you can do. But if you have a sort of a negative mind, which a lot of people do, sort of, it's amazing how sort of the body will filter. If your mind's not sort of full of, you don't have to run about saying everything's amazing. But see, accepting that it's shit and accepting that you're the only person who can change it.
It's everything. Like, it's Theo Vaughan says this quote, and it's just so simple, so effective. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Brilliant.
And that's just, it's so simple, it's so effective. If you want to see a change, you need to make a change. Like, it's, as Einstein says, I think it's Einstein anyway, I know Einstein, so I'll be saying this, but the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
100%.
Is that Einstein?
It is. It is. There's an R one I like, and you'll like it from an NFL. I've been running about saying it, but I think I've been saying it now just to wind people up. And it was Tom Brady, and he actually said, there was a guy cutting his hair, and he says, look, if you have any inspiration, I'll need some inspiration today. And he just turned around and looked at him and went, fish just don't jump out into a boat. And your man went, and he got it straight away, and he goes, you have to go and get them. Go and get it. And all this here, and I just went,
yes.
Right, yes, sir.
Tom Brady, some of his stuff's class.
Mate. See stuff like that there, people sort of are different level. They're different level for a reason.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're talking about even some of the footballers we've sort of brought over and stuff like that. There's a reason why they got the word they got. And it wasn't through them having an easy upbringing and sort of things like that there. It's unbelievable.
So, speaking of T.A.M.H.I, as the organisation, just for people that possibly might live under a rock and don't know what T.A.M.H.I do, everybody in North Belfast will know what T.A.M.H.I does and just wider field. What does T.A.M.H.I do? What is T.A.M.H.I?
So T.A.M.H.I stands for Tackling Awareness of Mental Health Issues, and we're a sport-based mental health charity that started up in 2011. There was a spate of suicides in North Belfast, just above your head, and my good friend Joe Donnelly lost his best friend to suicide. There seemed to be sort of a rift that was happening about North at the time, and there was some organisations about, and Joe took it upon himself to sort of start making resources to hand out to people and say, look, there's
what age was he at this?
Joe, 2011. Probably about 26, 27. And started handing out flyers and leaflets and all this here. And then sports clubs started coming to him and saying, look, we're struggling. Here's a lot of boys saying this here and trying things and all this here. And he started helping T.A.M.H.I. And it went like that for a while, where T.A.M.H.I started off and it was like a precursor to helping some people. But the more they kept getting through on Joe's plate, Joe was a year below me in school, me and him would have knew each other well. He said to me, Mickey, I need you, mate, I need to hang. So I came in on a part-time basis and we started growing it and driving behind the sports clubs and then get into schools. And the schools thing really kicked us off because we started doing the dramatic play stuff. So the mental wealth games and even the title, wealth, we changed it from mental health.
Yeah.
Wealth sounds like sort of rich upbringing, things like that there. So mental wealth, because you need your mental game to be full. And we went in and started doing things. It just started growing. And whenever you take into consideration what we've done over the years, how many clubs we're working with, we're near enough 300 clubs, and how many kids are in them clubs. So in a pyramid scheme, we're probably touching base for 100,000 people a year. And then you're getting into schools, and then we're doing peer mentoring right through. We're offering the text teammate service. We're doing so many different things. But one of the most beautiful things is being recognised within the community of the work you do. And it's not about sort of, I love hearing stories that we've helped people inadvertently, where you went, my cousin got help off you before and thing, and I went, I don't even know who your cousin is, don't know a thing, but it's amazing. And as you said, just what you said about Joe, perfect. That's what you need, to know that there's a massive impact in your life. Every single one of us have been affected by suicide. Yeah. So in 2018, my uncle, I was actually working for Tommy. He took his own life. It was probably now the second most horrific, traumatising event of my life. Whenever I was stuck in the house with the two kids and she was at work. And when she was at work, she's not allowed her phone on the thing. Nice, different job now, and also sort of in finance. And she was working in Peacocks at the time. And I was ringing her and ringing her. My sister rang and said, something's wrong with Joseph, something's wrong. Joseph was only 40 years of age, and he masked his problems through drink and sort of openly called himself an alcoholic. I actually didn't like to call him an alcoholic because he didn't look like an alcoholic. He was off a drink for like 4 or 5 years at a time. Then when he hit it, he hit it hard, So that there night, I waited and until she came home, but just prior to her coming home, my brother called the door and rapped the door. He didn't even walk in, for some weird reason. The door was left open now, rapped it. I went out and he was just tears of flooding, and I went down with my and she was sitting in the car. She was in tears. And she got out to try and hug me, and I went, go away, and just went down to the house, closed the door, and just lay her crying, like, just hanging. And I knew I needed the. I'd never seen our Joseph ever again. It was from what I can remember, I can't remember. It was a closed casket or thing, but it was just from then. Whenever I walk in here, in the corner, there's a painting of our Joseph, of him fishing, and every single day I walk in and I look at that and go, let's fucking go. I never ever want anyone to feel that way. Yeah. Never ever want anyone to feel that way. And touch wood, we do a lot of work that stops people from hitting that exit button and stuff like that. Even after Joseph's death, like as you said, I'm no Einstein as well. I started actually writing a poem, and I'll actually send you. It's one of the finer pieces of mine. I started writing and I felt like he was in the office with me and just what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, and he was one of the biggest role models in my life. And I just wanted to thank him for everything and thing. I wasn't going to say, like, why'd you tell? And I read it all down and I looked at it and I kept reading it and went, I need people to hear this. Yeah. And I recorded myself one day. I was doing a session in Gertrude, and when it ended, I went into a corner, recorded myself and said, look guys, I just want to say how it is. Said it and put it out. We put it on Tommy, put it on my own private Facebook, and 4 people text later on that night and says I had plans to do stuff to myself, and whoever that young man is, tell him I've totally changed. And it was a way of looking at things, because although he found his pen, I always say about, like, it's your book.
Yeah.
You know, in your life's your book, and there's loads of chapters in it, and there's some shit chapters.
Yeah.
Everyone has a shit chapter. No one goes through and it's all sort of airy fairy. Everyone has a shit chapter, and that was one of the shittest chapters of my life. And I had to understand and learn that my book wasn't done. Because his pen was too heavy to hold, I have to go and write on mine. But I always have to read back on the chapter where he got my first pint.
Yeah.
He tried to teach me football, but it was far better at him from no age. And things like that there, he was just always there for me. Always there. See, you have one person in your life that you knew, drop you a hat, he's at your door, and whatever you need, he's there. It's the same as even, see, whenever we're talking about football teams, you always remember that one good coach. That one good coach has sort of got you, and sort of, you knew, I could tell him anything, I could go to him. And for me, it was a fella called Jim, and he actually took us at under 14. See, when I say a bunch of rogues, they were like, actually we are under 16 team, we all look 48, all full beards and all this here, but he took us from no age, and he was just there for us, and just no matter what.
See a man like yourself that is here and people rely on to help with their mental health. How do you overcome an experience like that where you've lost someone through mental health, where your mental health mightn't be the best? How does a man like you overcome that?
I look for inspiration. I genuinely do. I mean, something that I call small wins, and I always say that if you get small wins, turn into big wins. And what you do is, I mean, everything from I feed off certain things, and I feed off negativity sometimes, which I hate, and I hate being around negative environments. But I love being in joyful environments. I love being feeding off positive people. I love sort of doing things like that there. So even down to our phones. For our phones, we're always on them, we're always in. I have my kids and my wife and everything just splattered all over it. So when I look, it makes me smile. It's a wee small win. And then if I do something for someone, or I do something for myself.
I'm not going to read this out, but I always have that there, and just so when you look at that there,
win, mate. I look at your face, like,
you're busting your balls.
You know what I mean?
You know what you're
doing it for. So it's all that there, and I mean, I found sort of the tummy tap that you have, the quote on the back. That helped me massively. So whenever all that there went down, and prior to it, I'd lost my granddad to cancer and things like that there, I genuinely went, like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, what is going on? Your life seemed to be falling around. And that's whenever I started talking about chapters and things like that, and knowing it's not, it's just a shit chapter, and there's better chapters in the future. Whenever my kids come into my life, so I have 2 boys and a girl, and the wee girl just has, see, when I say she's the light of everyone's room, she walks in and you just go, oh my God, she's perfect. And if I would have had a bit of a breakdown of thing and all this here, and sort of slid into depression, which would have been granted, would I have got this stage I am now? Probably not. I'm probably still. Probably would have went through a rough stage. But no, the quote in itself, I found so much help with it that I actually got it tattooed on my arm. It's a quote that probably a lot of people have in their kitchens and thing. You know, whenever it's simply, it's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And anyone out there that has a mental health issue, it's a shitty time at the minute. It's a shitty storm. But see if you learn to dance and get through it and know and appreciate everything that you do have, you will get there in the end.
I think if we touch back on Romania, and one thing which I'm a massive kind of advocate for is perspective is everything.
100%.
And I kind of spoke about it yesterday on the episode I had with Caroline McKenna, and kind of says, like, the outfit which you have just went out to buy is an outfit that someone has been saving up 3 months to go and buy, or that place you're going out for a meal here tomorrow or going out today for a Sunday roast is somewhere where people have been waiting 6 months for their anniversary so they can go and afford that there. So perspective is everything, and I think that's one thing in this generation here now, because there's so much on social media, and people, even at Christmas, it seems like some people compete with each other. Look how much presents I can get my kids, and everyone's struggling at this time of year. It's so hard.
See, even you saying that, it's one of my gripes, mate. See people put photographs of teas up. Fucking grinds me, man. I'm going, stop, because there is some girl round the corner, Jessica Smith, who has 2 kids, and she's buying them something between them.
Yeah,
but I'm going, see that there, and kids are gonna fucking do well,
100%.
Because they're not thing. They're gonna grow up and they're gonna be awesome. But see the fact that then the mummy has to see that and go, I'm failing as a you're not. You're fucking awesome. You really are awesome.
People do need, like, I know fair play if you can go out and afford a certain thing.
100%.
Unreal, but I think people just need to be mindful that not everyone out there can afford a certain thing, and it's kind of, and kids as well, like you see it, kids may go into school with the same bag they had last year, and you know how kids are. Kids say something. I think we need to raise our kids as well, and to let them know that,
but it's the kids,
people struggle out there.
The kids also need to sort of build up that resiliency, and genuinely see if someone ever now as a sort of not a child, I would have someone say to me about my school bag, you were getting into a fight. You know what I mean? But see now, you would turn around and go, so
100%.
And I mean, you just take it out of a par. We would always try and be inspired, and we'd watch a lot of TED stuff and stuff like that there. And I seen something about taking the power back, and it was about a young teacher standing up and said to one of class, come on up, you can say anything you want, you can say anything you would like, you'll get away with it, don't worry about it. And the kid turned around and just says, you're so fat. And the teacher just turned around and goes, and the whole class burst out laughing, and I turned around and goes, I've been thinking I do need to lose a bit of weight, thank you. And the kid just went like that and looked out at the class, and the class all went, what are you going to do now? And because he didn't let him sort of know that it affected him, it took all the power out. And see a young person that sort of doesn't have too much things, they'll probably build up more of a resilience than anyone that does, because the people that do have everything have never had to sort of work for it, or never had to sort of go through the hardship. Character
building. I always say that challenging times are they're forging your character, and it's like a furnace that will either melt you or forge you.
100%.
And I think no one with a good story, no one with all these great tales of what they've done it's never been handed to them. You never remember the person whose dad went and bought them this.
They need to go through hardship.
Yeah.
You need to
embrace it.
And I mean, see, when we talk about growing up where we grew up, some of the best characters you know are from them areas. Like, you know what I mean? You go into that West Belfast, it's full of them. You know what I mean? It's just here, it's full of characters, and it's sort of, it's a beauteous here place. I find our attitude and the Scottish attitude absolute. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, and it's just
very like.
I love how we can all slag each other, and the way we are. Like, I mean, even like say blame game and hanging up. That's the way we are, and they take the absolute piss out of it. It's brilliant to see.
One thing I love about friend groups about here, you can all slag each other, but see, as soon as someone from outside that friend group will say something, they all pounce on.
Everyone will have each other's back and think. I mean, here, our office is, I mean, it's an amazing environment, an amazing place. But see, if you're not thick-skinned, forget about it. Like, I mean, here, there's myself, Joe, Dixie, and Kev sitting at our wee quattro of space there, and rip a shit out each other. But here,
it's all from a place of love.
But it's coming. It's like, it's the way brothers being. I love to hear Sean McComb talk about him and all his brothers.
They
all seem like Sean's. Sean's a fucking gentleman, absolute gentleman. But see, just the way they all are, like, I go, that's just a load of lads that
Yeah.
grew up and had each other's back. Punts each other's back probably a load of times, but they're brothers. And thing, it was brilliant to see. It's just that there's loads of different things that sort of, whenever you do grow up in that era, it builds character. Like, it really does, mate.
See, when you were saying there, we were talking about kind of like the inter-community rivals, like rivalries. I remember, like, even in Ardown, the top streets and the bottom streets hated each other, like the same area, but the Berwick Road divides the top streets and the bottom streets, and people on the bottom streets hated the people on the top streets, and vice versa.
But the top streets were always nuts. I think we didn't even get the sort of filter in the top streets. It was always sort of the lower Ardown and stuff like that. And
all them older ski heads.
It was just crazy. It was crazy whenever you got people watching this episode are going, what are you on about? We get what we're on about.
Yeah.
It's mad.
All the North Belfast ones though.
Yeah.
Like, get it, like there's lads there that I see now that I used to see and just be like shit scared off. Like I remember I told this story on the Sean McComb podcast, but I was down in Yorkgate. They had that wee sports shop in Yorkgate, and I saw a Linfield top. So I goes to my mum, it was like a £5 or something. It was last season's. I goes to my mum, can I have that there? And she was like, aye, right. She has no clue about any of that there. She goes, aye, yeah, no, I'm no bother. So we came up with this idea that we're going to put the Linfield top on me. I'm going to stand out on Ardown Road. A model taxi will drive past, will stop. Because I'm wearing a Linfield top, I'd be like, kid, what the fuck are you doing? You're in Ardown. And then you go out and break a taxi. And then ended up, the older lads of the top streeters saw me before the taxi saw me, and then chased me down and gripped me up because I was wearing a Linfield top. But I was just like, even when I would see them, even when I was fucking 18, 19, 20, and I would still see them, I'd go, fuck, they are mad. I'll stay away from them.
I stay away. It was just a surreal place, sort of, to grow up in.
Characters everywhere.
But I mean, like, see yesterday, I drove past an old coal lorry, and I genuinely looked at it and went, fuck me, remember you used to get a hap on them?
Nostalgia.
You used to get a hap. You couldn't see something like that. I remember getting a hap on a fire brigade, and we get on the back of it. I mean, see now, like, you would go, what the fuck, you seen a chain in the back of something? But we used to hop on, and I remember your man looked out the window and burst out laughing, and I drove faster, the fire brigade, and turned the siren and all that. And I was going, hey, he took us right back to a fucking, you ever see over in, what do they call it?
The Westland?
Westland. Let us out and come down, give us a high five, and goes, right now, you need to go home. And I mean, we were shaking ourselves.
Well, down at Westland?
Oh, down there. No, we went through the waterworks, aye. We were through the Orway, sprinted past the thing you used to do over the school. There used to be people going, no, don't walk around there.
Like, you still weren't allowed, like, in my day. I was watching I get proper nostalgia at old Premier League clips. Right. And I was watching, you'll remember this much more than me, because I can just remember it briefly, but the ITV Beautiful Day U2 intro for the Premier League, when they were doing the highlights as well, and I was just sitting like U2 Beautiful Day and just the old Premier League, and I was just
the old God. As I say, we're bringing all them and so it was surreal. That's another thing, part of Tommy that sort of it came out of a friend of mine would work with Legends 11, and I just went, not touch base for him, see what the crack is. So I set up a meeting where an other fella called Browner, fella from Dublin, come up, and I mean, lovely man, come in, started chatting away, and this is what he could do, and this was his thing. He started throwing names about, and I started talking about Larson and all, and I went, look, stop this. So just stop it, and hanging off. So what I'd say that obviously United and Liverpool, it's one out of two, because we would never align ourselves for any side of the community. And that's why Celtic or Rangers was always off of cards. It's just like, nope. So we got Manchester United over. And some of the names were sort of coming over and announced. We were going,
the two names on that wall in the first match.
Wes Brown and then Yap
Santa back to.
I mean, wow. I remember me and Joe Gormley sitting in the thing, tying our laces, and Joe looked up and just went, "Where's Yap Stam?" And he had this aura about him that there. You just knew you were going, he was one of the best ever, like, outstanding. And just brilliant. But see some of the other ones, Brian McLaren, fucking, see when I say characters, man, absolute nuts. But that was the time to sort of And you remember Marty Riley and Nigel
Yeah.
were doing their videos.
Their video,
So Marty played in the match. So he did. But Nigel was meant to play. But Nigel actually had a wedding or something that day and he couldn't play.
Raging.
And he was sure Bricky McCurvey was playing, fundraised, done everything. Broke his leg. Remember the last game for Star?
Fuck.
2 weeks before the match.
I would kill you.
And I said to him, right, come down, be on the sideline.
You probably wouldn't look out of place as well. No, like
what a player.
there as well. Like,
That's it. It was just
Wouldn't look
it was
out of
so
place.
it was so easy to play. I played 1.5, so we played like three thirds, and I played 1.5 against them. I was like chasing fucking shadows, man. It really was. It was just, and they weren't even really moving. They were just passing, taking our sides, hitting high, and we were going. We want to make an impression. They were fucking here, there, and everywhere. Didn't get near it, but just that day, and some of the things that come off it, there was actually so see when you talk about fundraisers and things like that there, it was more for us getting the name of T.A.M.H.I out and sort of promoting about positive mental health. But one of the main things for me on that day was I made fucking 40 fucking fellas from this local area's dream. So much they actually made me a plaque thing, and it was beautiful. But there's one fella in the team who we made sure that his 4 boys walked out with the players right at the front, not knowing, well, I knew, but no one else sort of in the crowd or anything knew that his wife was in the crowd, and it was one of her last days out. She was dying of cancer, stage 4 cancer, and she was able to see sort of that her kids and her husband was going to be okay. And that was amazing. That was worth sort of more than anything we could have done. And just knowing sort of we had their back. Stuart Buick, a very good friend of mine, we then went on to do another football match, and it was nothing to do with United or any legends. It was just local people, and we all played for Cancer Lifeline and raised a few pound and stuff like that. That brings me to the next question where I take over. I need a footballer to play in the next game. Do you know any?
do I know any?
What? Who?
Me?
You?
Oh, what?
Would love you to play in the next game. It's gonna be a Leeds United fan team, captained by Jermaine Beckford, and then it's gonna be playing against a Man United supporting team by Wes Brown.
That's quality.
Come over and believe it or not, it's not actually for Tommy. It's for Cancer Lifeline, just up on Alliance Avenue, and it's in memory of his beautiful wife.
His wife, unreal.
So just things like that there. See, we help out regularly with actually other charities. Joe went through his youngest wee lad, wee Conan, so beautiful young human being. He comes in here and you just fall over him. And he comes in and he'll chat, he'll ask about your shoes, where'd you get your tap? I love your tap. It's 200 million lower. And whenever he was born, he was actually given a low percentage chance of living because he had holes in his heart. And Joe and his wife were supported fully by an amazing charity, a Heartbeat Trust. And every year, Joe does a Heartbeat Trust Cup, donates money to them and stuff like that there. My wee niece had holes in her heart too, so it's something close to my heart. And see if we can help. It's not, as you said, see when we talk about the lack of funding and things like that there, we all need to help each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And sort of collaborative working is the way forward, because you need to know that you're not doing the be all and the end all. There is different people that sort of can help you in different ways, and we offer it to many different organisations too, and say like we'll come in and help you out, no problem.
You used to this year kind of orientated around sports, so see for you, you've worked with a lot of sports stars, a lot. Is there who? Not that everyone is not. I don't want to try to single anyone out here, but I think I just want to ask, who's came in who has really bought into what Tommy is trying to do, who you probably didn't expect that they would have been that interested, or they've like just surprised you with their commitment to Tommy and the love of what you're actually doing?
There's so many, but I mean,
that's why I don't want to single anyone
and not
out,
even I'd see whenever you're talking to the likes of Yap, Stam, Wes, Brown, Berbatov, Gig and all, they were all over here as a transaction.
Yeah.
They were all over here as a thing. It's a local sporting stars, a thing. Your Joe Gormleys and things like that. Like Joe was the second person I ever asked to be an ambassador, but the number one for me, hands down, is Ryan Burnett. But like Ryan for me is very inspirational at how a man can make something and become one of the best in the world. I believe personally, hands down, and I've told him many times, it's the best fighter to ever come out of this country. It's just that it was cut short.
Yeah.
And the way this country is and the way we're based, he didn't get the support because he took himself away from the country.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are sort of wouldn't have knew as much as who he is, as much as Carl Frampton and things like that. But he's also a double world champion. And I mean, coming from a local fella from the Newington area, it's unbelievable. And so talented. But with the likes of him and his wife Flora, they've done so many things for us. There's something coming up that he's doing that's just pretty big, and it's touching in the realms of what you're doing, which is also unbelievable. The fact that it shows us it's one of the charities, that gives us a good feeling. Do you know what I mean? See that they're being recognised within sort of our local people, and that's what we're hopefully doing it for.
He came to me with the idea. It wasn't even my idea initially. I sent him a guy called T.A.M.H.I. He done it, but he done it with a barbell and plates.
Right.
Carried it up, and obviously me and him are both in the army, so we're just like, we'll put a military spin on this year as well, just with the backpacks, because, and again, the backpack, I think a backpack is going to be really challenging because you're carrying all the weight on your back. Your back will be in bits by the end of it, and we kind of timed it out. It's probably going to take us about 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours, just with the incline, the conditions, whether it's wet, snowy, the top of the earth's going to be windy, so you'll be taking one step and going back 3. But he came to me, and then we kind of just talked about charities, and for me, Tommy was always going to be one in terms of mental health and what you do in the community, and then also we're doing it for Kites for Kids as well, and then Liam wanted to put in MAP as well, which we've had it up since Tuesday, I think it is, and we've raised over $1,000 so far.
Flan.
We're hoping. A goal we've set was at least 1,500, but we want to try to be touching about 3,000.
Yeah, these are absolute flan. No, these are flan, and see even that challenge, putting yourselves out there and sort of, as you said, doing something that sort of could harm you physically for maybe a week or so or whatever it'll think. You're doing that so other people sort of can feel well. Do you know what I mean? 100%. Whether it's over in Palestine, whether it's sort of kids over Christmas, and whether it's anyone with a mental health issue, that's what it's for. Do you know what I mean?
As long as someone can, even one person gets something out of it, you know what I mean? That's
the sense. See, even you holding that up at the very start of this, the amount of people, I know you're absolutely flying at the minute, it genuinely is amazing to see. And the fact that you start that there with that, there could be one person that's looking at this and see at their small win. Some people's small wins watching your podcast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And go on here, I can chill out, I can watch Mentality Monsters, get through sort of an hour and a bit in my day, and just not worry about my troubles. That might be that person, if it is, I hope you are watching, and they see that. That's amazing. That's one person, and I mean, they just have it at the end of their fingertips, and that's why when we work with so many clubs, we would do like a key ring. We would give out key rings to sort of thousands and thousands of sort of people all over Northern Ireland and further on, and we give out key rings, and at the front of it, it's something positive to them. So like a football team supporter who you play for, boxing club, anything that sort of resonates with you as a person. Something that you're proud to have on your keys, and on the back of it is all important information, whether it's the text teammate, information or lifeline or different things, you have that at the end of your fingertips, and you know it's always there, and that's half the battle. Some people don't know who to talk to or who to turn to. Sometimes now, a lot of young people can't ring a Chinese.
Yeah.
But they'll text their mates 24/7, and that's where we'll come up with a text teammate one. It was actually Joe had mentioned it to one of the football teams and said, text Tommy, the thing, and some fella just went, mate, that sounds shite. And he said, well, what would you say? And he said, what about if you're texting your mate? And Joe went, what, like a teammate? And he went, yeah. And he went, that's where it came out. It's sort of, and we get the analytics each month of who's used it, and it's being used quite a bit, which is golden. Good, yeah. Which is golden to hear, and just go, look, you don't have to be standing in the bridge to use it. You just, if you're feeling a bit down for a while and not knowing why or how you're feeling that way, text it. There could be something that they sort of draw out of you and sort of give you advice to help, and that's it. It's sort of use it when you needs be. But I mean, when you're talking about sort of things, see through the charity, we have met a lot of sort of big names and things like that there. It's always been the local people, sort of. It's
they're seeing the effects on the ground.
Yeah,
and
I mean, here, ranking. It's never gonna ring us and ask for help. Do you know what I mean? It's here. That's all good and well said. But it's one of the surreal moments was when we won a Sport Gives Back award. It's TV, sort of televised event, and there was me and Joe, like a fella from a bone and a fella from a new lad, standing in the middle of this fancy hall. All these, see when I say celebrities like Mo Farah and all this here, and one of the guys come over and said, your chauffeur tonight is going to be, and all it works, Frank Lampard and Christine Lampard, and we were sitting going, all right, Frank. No one, someone will like give us a heads up, so we were pulling out Chelsea tops left, right, and centre, and chatting away. And when we were in the line and getting photos taken by a paparazzi, and I mean, me and him stuck out like two sore thumbs, and everything going. And Christine just leaned in and went, Mickey, what about all them fellas in the Devonies the other night? And I burst out laughing. I went, this is fucking too weird. You're standing in the middle of London, Chelsea, and she's talking about fellas swinging their bits about. and Frank Lampard, he's trying to keep a straight face, like laughing, going, what was that? And she went, remember I was telling you about them, and she went, oh right, I'm Belfast. The guys with the big willies. And I was just like, this is weird. It happens even, it's some of the things, that the United gig, I can remember doing a rondo with Jaap Stam, Wes Brown and Carl Poborski, and put my foot in the ball, and it was a full stadium, and going, what the fuck? No, mate, what the fuck? It's so weird. And it wasn't even like a thing. But then again, you meet some of them and they're real disappointing. I said before, I went round.
You don't meet your heroes?
My hero was my mother, mate. I've openly I've openly stated on my social media, I've openly stated in front of anyone that ever asked, they're all good at football. They're not my hero. They'll never will be. They'll never come close to my mother. My mother sadly died 2 years ago, age 60, and I, as you said, seeing me talk about mental health and thing, still dealing with it. But yet again, I have so much positivity in my life, with my children, my wife, my family, different things, my friends and work, the work I'm doing. You have to concentrate on that. You can't always sort of go back to a worst chapter of your book and keep reading it and keep reading it and keep reading it. Where you see a lot of people on social media and they're bogged down their social media with their loved ones that passed and things like that there, and then they have to see it every day and thing and all. I think, as you mentioned earlier, the body and the mind's so resilient. You learn to get on with stuff. You'll never forget and never sort of move on, but you do learn the sort of see that saying time's a healer. I disagree. It's not a healer, but it teaches you to sort of to learn with it, live with it, cope with it. That's it. Just to get on, keep dancing through that rain, mate.
I think as well, it's always good to like to look back on these times and see again how far you've came,
100%.
but also just you take into consideration like there's times where you look back, like I think of my my grandmother and things, like I miss her, or I wish I was there for this and I missed this, or like stuff like that there. But I think that kind of goes right. I know I'd never want to feel like that again, or so I'll make sure that I'm here for this person and that person, and you just try to be positive. And
even photos, see you getting a photo taken, that might be the photo that you put up whenever they go, or whenever you go, they
put it up.
So just be happy within the moment and just know that these are all clambering on, these are making brilliant memories. Keep collecting them memory tokens, mate.
100%. Micky, one message to the camera for that one person out there, just before we close up here.
Genuinely, if you are that one person that does need help, please text Teammate to 85258, and I promise you, better days lay ahead. It's as simple as that, and you are totally awesome.
Thank you very much, Micky, and again a big thank you to Tommy for allowing us to use their office.